paper type.
You can see how the NDRF teams are going from house to house, trying to convince people to leave their homes. These are you can see these homes are very vulnerable in the wake of the impending storm, the Cyclone Yas.
Good morning, it's 9 o'clock. You're watching CNN News 18. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. Good to see all of you. Our top focus is as far as Cyclone Yaas is concerned. It has turned into a very severe cyclonic storm. We'll be going across to our colleagues joining us from different locations, helping you understand what is the current situation and what are the precautionary measures also being taken by various state governments. As we said, Cyclone Yaas has now turned into a very severe cyclonic storm in the east coast. The cyclone is expected to make landfall between Balasore and Paradeep in Odisha by noon today. Over 100 NDRF teams have already been deployed, while rescue and relief teams from the Army, Navy and the Coast Guard have also been put on standby. Over 11 lakh people in Bengal and 2.5 lakh people in Odisha have been evacuated and moved to relief shelters. The cyclone is expected to enter West Bengal via Odisha and then move towards Jharkhand on the 27th of May. Shaugato is now joining us from Deogarh in West Bengal. Shaugato, good morning. Talk to us about the weather conditions and what are you seeing around you, and how bad does the situation really look like?
Well, the landfall process has already started. The cyclone is unleashing its full fury on the land, and I will try and show you these visuals. The tremendously rough seas which has already breached all embankments. You can see the entire area of the Deogarh coastline already flooded at this point in time. The sea water has gushed in, and if this is the situation in the town area, the urban area of Deogarh, you can understand what the situation is in the rural areas, the coastal villages, which we are getting reports of getting completely inundated. Some of the villages have been washed away, we are told. We only can hope at this point in time that people in those villages are safe. They have been able to evacuate and move to safer areas. But you can see the height of the sea water. It's 20-25 feet waves that are crashing in on the shores and are completely flooding the entire area. I would ask my camera person to try and show you the wind speed at this point in time. The wind speed is also pretty high. It seems that it is certainly about 120 kilometers per hour at this point in time, and that would cause extensive damage to the entire area, and not just the area around Deogarh, but the entire coastline of Bengal and Odisha, where this storm is making its landfall at this point in time, right from Paradeep to entire area up to the Gangasagar Islands to the Sundarbans area. So the entire area is currently affected. You can understand that under such conditions, there is very little that human beings can actually do to stop the damage that this furious nature can actually cause. What the people are helpless, government is helpless. Ministers who are here keeping a stock of the situation, they are helpless at this point in time. They can only hope that people who have been evacuated are currently safe in their cyclone shelters. But But this phenomena
Yeah.
is going to carry out, is going to go on for a few more hours now. So you can understand the kind of damage that it is going to cause in the next few hours in the entire coastline, especially in Odisha, where the eye of the storm would pass through. The south, somewhere in north of Dhamra port and south of Balasore, through which the eye would pass sometime at around noon, and that is when the maximum damage will happen, not just in that area but also in the adjacent areas like places where I am currently standing, and that is a major challenge, to withstand this kind of a natural fury, and hope that people will be able to tread past this with their lives and property. The extensive damage that will be caused will only be known after the storm has passed. There is no way we can actually access those coastal villages, which we are getting to know have been completely washed away because of these very high waves which are crashing on the shore at this point in time, completely inundating the entire the coastal area of East Midnapur, where I am currently standing, in Digha, in South 24 Parganas, in the Odisha coast, so on and so forth. So it's a major challenge that the government the respective governments are actually facing. Mamata Banerjee is keeping a strict vigil on this developing situation from her control room 24/7 now.
The situation won't be easy for any state government, Shogato, because you have the pandemic as well, and then you have a cyclone. So the work, of course, will be challenging. We'll continue to come back to you. Our colleague Ashika has also sent us this report from Digha and West Bengal. Let's also take a look.
चक्रवाती तूफान यास ने वेरी सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म की शक्ल ले ली और अब इसका असर पूर्व मिदनापुर में देखने को मिल रहा है। समुद्र पूरे उफान पर है। वेरी सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म, जहां पर जो विंड स्पीड है 118 से लेकर के और 165 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड में रहता है, और इसी श्रेणी में जो है यास तूफान को रखा गया है। पिछले साल पश्चिम बंगाल में अम्फन ने दस्तक दी थी, जो एक सुपर साइक्लोन था, और इस बार यास, जो कि एक वेरी सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म है, इसका असर जो अभी देखने को मिल रहा है, ये साफ है कि ये तूफान विनाशकारी होगा। राज्य सरकार ने कमर तो कस ली है, लेकिन मशक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ रहा है जो भी राहत कर्मी हैं उन्हें।
Well, the situation is already getting from bad to worse, because you can see how the weather is also intensifying, and this is exactly what Shogato was also pointing out. Going back to Shogato, as we said, the task isn't going to be easy because you, of course, are in the middle of a pandemic as well. But first, I also want to talk to you about the evacuation that has already happened. How many people have been evacuated, and what is the deployment on the ground today to ensure that if anybody is stuck in any untoward situation, they also can be rescued?
Well, Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of Bengal, has already informed last evening that some 11 lakh people have been evacuated from the coastal areas of Bengal, and that includes areas of South 24 Parganas, East Midnapur, West Midnapur, and North 24 parts of North 24 Parganas as well. So that amount is a huge amount. 11 lakh people have been evacuated and taken to shelters which are perceived to be safe for them, the cyclone shelters. At the same time, there is a
Well, we'll go back to Shogato, but we're getting some breaking developments now coming in on the day that the new IT rules come into effect for social media platforms in India. We're now understanding that WhatsApp has sued the Indian government, calling the new media rules an end to privacy. This, of course, is according to a source to Reuters, but we're understanding that WhatsApp has sued Indian government, saying new Indian rules, the social media rules, mean it's an end to privacy. Sources are also adding that WhatsApp has now filed a legal complaint in the national capital against the Indian government, seeking to block regulations coming into force from Wednesday that experts say would compel the California-based Facebook as well. So, of course, what we're understanding from sources, and this is important, that on the day when the new IT rules come into effect for social media platforms, we're understanding from sources that WhatsApp has sued the Indian government, calling the new media rules an end to privacy. This is according to a source to Reuters that WhatsApp has sued the Indian government, saying that the new social media rules mean an end to privacy. WhatsApp has filed a legal complaint in the national capital against the Indian government, seeking to block regulations coming into force on Wednesday. So this is interesting that on a day when you have the new IT rules come into effect, you now have an action taken by WhatsApp, and this is what we're understanding from sources as of now. This is according to a source to Reuters, that WhatsApp is suing the Indian government, saying that these new media rules mean an end to privacy. We'll try and get you more details from our reporter, but this is, as we said, coming on a day when the new IT rules come into play. Remember, social media platforms were given a period of 3 months to comply to these new guidelines, but barring coup, you didn't have any social media platform comply to these rules, either Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram. Many of them had said that they wanted more time as far as compliance to these new rules is concerned, and they were waiting for a message to come down from their top headquarters. But now we're understanding that on a day when these new rules will actually kick in India, we're understanding this from sources that WhatsApp has now sued the Indian government, saying this new media rules will mean an end to privacy. Let's try and get more details. Our contributing editor Aditya Rajkol is now joining us. Aditya, this is interesting that on a day when you have the new IT rules kick in, you didn't have any of the social media platforms comply. They were given a period of 3 months. On the same day when these new rules kick in, WhatsApp, we're understanding from sources, plans to sue the Indian government.
Absolutely. Perhaps a move to buy some more time or take it out legally. But that's what we are learning, that WhatsApp has filed a legal complaint now in Delhi against the Indian government, seeking to block regulations coming into force that are coming in a few hours from now. And the due date that was set up for the last 3 months is finally getting over. So the lawsuit, which has been described by agencies, will be filed in the Delhi High Court to declare that one of the new rules is a violation of privacy rights in India. India's constitution, since it requires social media companies to identify the first originator of information when authorities demand it. So clearly, this is a massive development. This also comes at a time when, Twitter and the government of India have been at loggerheads. We saw almost raids taking place at the Twitter offices in Delhi when the police finally said that it wasn't actually a raid, but finally notice that was served. But at this moment, it seems that this is going to end anytime soon. There's certainly the war of words is now going to be seen inside the court. And finally, we'll see the courts deciding what way these privacy laws really go.
Okay, Aditya, we'll request you to stay on with us. Cyber expert Pawan Duggal is also joining us. Mr. Duggal, good morning. Good to have you on the broadcast with us. Your first reaction to this move that we're picking up from our sources, that WhatsApp now wants to sue the Indian government. How do you see this? Is this a move just to buy some more time?
I think this is something that I was seeing on the horizon for quite some time. It was a logical corollary of the current processes and the thought process that WhatsApp was thinking about, that this particular lawsuit had to come across. Actually speaking, these new IT rules 2021 have sought to put a large number of new compliances and new provisions in place which implemented could prejudicially impact people's rights. Now, rather than going and arguing that as WhatsApp I'm expected to do a lot of things which is going to be far more onerous, they've rather chosen to shoot their gun from the shoulder of the users. Now, it's strange. On the one hand, WhatsApp wants to roast its users by thrusting an amended privacy policy down their throat without giving any consent, and yet now they want to file a lawsuit in the Delhi High Court on the shoulder of the user, saying the user's privacy is going to be impacted. So it's very, very kind of a double-edged approach that they have actually adopted. But having said that, now that these rules will be sued, it will be only good and appropriate that the Court of Competent Jurisdiction here, being the Delhi High Court, should adjudicate upon the legality about the IT rules and whether they can be made implemented, and if so, whether the rules are in violation of the fundamental right to privacy under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. It's interesting to know that none of the other service providers have walked this particular walk. Now, this particular walk is also showing the dual standards of WhatsApp and is only showing an opportunistic approach to continue the status quo of not complying with Indian law, yet at the same time taking all the commercial benefits out of the huge Indian market that it currently possesses.
Mr. Duggal, that's exactly what I wanted to get to, that, India is a huge market for not just for WhatsApp, but for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And this is what the government was saying, that you had 3 months. If you wanted to enjoy the benefits of the Indian market, do comply with these new rules as well. And as you rightly pointed out, WhatsApp has seen time and again criticism of these new privacy rules, that it's literally shoved down the throats of many of its users. Do you think that WhatsApp is putting itself in a very, very tight position and maybe closing any further hope or scope of communication?
See, right now WhatsApp has chosen to take a gamble. The gamble is a very, very crystal clear manifestation of the thought process that, look, to the extent possible and to the time possible, we will not comply with Indian law. We will start using some legal technique or the other to start stalling its compliances and implementation. And that's what they've currently done. Even historically, when I look at the way how the WhatsApp legal operations and strategies in India have evolved, it's very, very clear they have always pushed back to ensure as far as possible they should not comply with law, or as far as possible to say that, look, their compliance has to be minimal. Earlier they used to ride on the high horses to say, look, we are an American company governed by American laws. But ever since the law started changing in India, they started changing their particular tune. Right now, they are not, I don't know what are the contents of the lawsuit that's been filed in the High Court, so it's hard to comment on the same. And also, since the sub judice, we will not comment on the merits of the same. It's only, I think, suitable and relevant and crucial that this entire issue of legality of these IT rules needs to be adjudicated. Till now, the challenge of these rules was only limited by OTT players on the self-regulation aspect of the rules. This is potentially for the first time that a significant social media intermediary has chosen to go ahead and challenge the legality of these rules in terms of their violation of the right to privacy. But the fundamental question that the judges or the court should ask WhatsApp is, while you are so much going ahead and shouting about violation of privacy of Indian users, what happened to this approach when you were thrusting down these amended privacy policies down the throats of Indians, which was completely violative of Indians' privacy, and which you have been continuously arguing that, look, we will continue this approach. So it's a very interesting kind of a legal battle that lies ahead.
Okay, Mr. Duggal, we leave the conversation there. So interesting that on a day when the new IT rules kick in, WhatsApp decides to sue the Indian government. This is what we're picking up from sources. But what really is next as far as Twitter and Facebook India are concerned? Let's break down those details for you as well. So first is protection against liability code N, and this could be a huge setback for these social media giants. Next, they will now be held legally accountable, and this, of course, again will be a huge setback if they are found violating any of these norms. Next, they could be asked to pay for damages as well. All of these, remember, were not in play till now, and that's why they were given 3 months to comply with these new rules. But as we said, barring coup, neither of these social media platforms complied with these new rules. Next, they could even face criminal prosecution if they are found guilty with any of these charges, liable for punishment under any Indian law. So this is how life could change for these social media platforms as far as Twitter and Facebook are concerned. Just to put this into context, there were notifications of new IT rules that were given to these social media platforms way back in February. They were given a period of 3 months to comply with these new rules. They had to get a redressal officer, a grievance officer, a nodal officer, all of these set in India to enjoy the benefits of the Indian market. But none of these social media platforms, barring coup, comply to these rules. Many of the social media platforms had said that they're still waiting for communication to come back from their headquarters. Now that deadline is over, so what is next as far as these social media platforms are concerned? Going across to our political editor, Maria Shakil, who's now joining us. Maria, good morning. A lot of interesting developments happening. First, you had these social media platforms not complying with the deadline that was given. And on a day when these new IT rules kick in, we're now understanding from sources that WhatsApp has now decided to up the ante, and they want to sue the Indian government, saying that these new IT rules would mean an end to privacy.
Yes, that's what Reuters is reporting even as we speak, Ridhima, that they have filed a legal complaint in Delhi against the Indian government, and which is essentially seeking to block regulations coming into force from today. What the WhatsApp petition is saying, as per Reuters, that this is a violation of privacy, which is clearly mentioned in the Indian Constitution, since it requires social media companies. As per the WhatsApp petition, the first originator of information where authorities have been demanding. Remember what the Government of India had said in its rules, which were formulated and put out in the public domain in February this year. They have said that the first originator of a content must be told to the government agencies, the law enforcing agencies, as and when they approach the platform, because there have been multiple instances of violence, of rioting, pornography, and other very disturbing images being circulated on WhatsApp, and that is circulated multiple times. So who is the original originator? From where did it all begin is something that the Government of India wanted WhatsApp in particular to share with them and with the other law enforcing agencies. Now, WhatsApp says that is a violation of the privacy clause that they believe in, violation of privacy, right to privacy, which is enshrined in our Indian Constitution. Now they have gone ahead and said that they are in fact challenging in the Delhi High Court. Okay. Now it remains to be seen whether the government, of course, the government will be responding to this. There will be notices that will be issued. Normal, what we see in the courts will be playing out. But interestingly, what we are seeing is two things. First, the Facebook has said that they have asked for more time and that they will be complying with Indian rules. As far as WhatsApp is concerned, they have gone ahead and said they'll be challenging these rules that have been formulated by the Government of India.
Okay, Maria, thanks for getting us those details.